Hey everybody. So in this one, I'm sharing this Kami document, so it's in the checklists, and you can make a copy of that and print it if you want to have it in paper and write on it, or you can come back to it and write on it using these tools here. I'm actually going to draw on it with my Screencastify tools because it's just a little bit quicker. But really, what I'm trying to show you in this video is how to do percentages with mental math. And there is an exercise, which is actually a game on Manga High called Ice Ice Maybe, where it's really asking you to do that mental math with percentages. And it seems like impossible at first, but if I teach you a few mental math tricks, I think you'll see that basically this little table here is something you can do in your head. And that sounds, I know that might be intimidating, but once we see how it works, I think you'll like it. All right. So I'm going to give it a little problem here that looks like it might be hard to figure out. So let's say, what did they say is, what is 30% of, I don't know, 40? All right. Some of you might say, oh, I can do that in my head already. Great. If not, you're like, I don't know what they're talking about. But here's what we know. 40 is this amount, 40. And we want a piece of it. We want 30% is 30 hundredths. So we have 40, and this is like on that. I'm not going to go over the tape diagram too much, but this is the picture of what we have here. 40 is 100%. That's right here. 50% we know is in the middle, right? So what they want us to find, 30 would be about there. So they want us to know there's 30%, right? So we want to find out what number would go here, right? So you might say, oh, well, half of 40 is 20. That would be 50%. And it's going to be a little less than 20. And you'd be great. And that's a nice way to estimate it. But there's a better way, all right? So I'm going to go down to this table now. And so just like on here, we said 40 was 100%. Under 100%, I'm going to say 40. So whenever it asks what is, if you're trying to find a percent of something, that of amount is 100%. It represents the whole thing, all of it, 100 pieces, 100%. Now, the first trick I'm going to show you is this. If you know 100%, guess what? You know 10%. Why? Well, 10 is just, to go from 100% to 10%, that's just divide by 10. And percents, like I said in the previous video, are a proportional relationship. So 10% is divide by 10 from 100%. So all I got to do to go from here to here is divide by 10. Now, don't break out your calculators. Don't do long division. Dividing by 10 just moves the decimal one time because we have a base 10 number system. So this just becomes the number 4.0 or just 4. Right? I don't really need that 0.0. Let's erase that. So this just becomes the number 4. Well, if I know 10%, do I also know 1%? Because that's also 10 times smaller. I do. So 100% is 40. 10% is just 4. 1% would be move the decimal one time over again. Okay, I think on your screen it looks like, let's see, no, it goes this way, like that. Move it to the left, and this would become the number 0.4. Now you say, but Mr. Marks, they didn't want to know 10%. Why are you talking about 10% and 1%? They want to know 30%, right? So they wanted to know 30%. So how do I find that answer? Well, guess what? 10% is 4. So if 10% is worth 4, 20% is 8, and 30% will be 12. I'm just counting by fours. So once you know 10% and 1%, you can build any other percentage kind of quickly with mental math. How do you find 10%? Just move the decimal over one. You know it, okay? 40 becomes 4, right? 30 is times 3, right? Because 10% to 30% is times 3. So the answer here is just going to be 12. And that does make sense in our picture up here. All right, so I'm going to erase this one, show another way to do this that you might find interesting. All right, so now we're back. Here's a new problem. What's 75% of 84? So again, 84 is representing the whole amount that we have. We're finding 75 hundredths. 75% means 75 hundredths. So we have to cut 84 into 100 little pieces. If I have 75 of them, that seems really hard. But we do know 84 is here. And a couple things we know about 75% is it should ring a bell. Well, we know 50% is in the middle, right? 50% is halfway to 100%. So it's half as much. So half of 84 would be That's a 4. 42. Half of 80 is 40. Half of 4 is 2. And we know 25% is half of 50, so half of 42 is 21. And what we're doing now is, remember, we're breaking things into 25%, 50%. That's a quarter and a half. We did a lot of that this year earlier on. Remember, we talked about 50% being 0.5, all that stuff with decimals, right? 75% of 84. Okay, so that's going to be half of 84 is 50% is 42. 25% is 21. So we can do half of half, and we get down to, now we essentially have a quarter. If you remember, 75% is 25 plus 25 plus 25 is 75. So that's up here. That's 3/4. So 75% is 3/4. So basically what I'm trying to find out is this amount up here. And I know that it's counting by 21s because a quarter, half is 42, a quarter is 21. So 21, 42, and another 21 makes, I believe, 63 here. So that's a way to do it. Now you say that's a lot of writing out. I don't want to do that. So again, quick mental math. 84 is the total amount. We know 50% is half of that is 42. Half of 50% is 25%. That's going to be 21. Now to get 75%, we can do one of two things. We can do 21 to get to 75% right here. We can go times 3, right? Which is kind of what we did up here. 21, 42, 63. But we also kind of did this cool thing where we counted by 21s. Essentially, you can actually add these together. If 50% is worth 42 and it's 25% is worth 21, if you add these together, you also get the answer 63. So 50%, you should know, half, divide by 2. 25%, 1/4, divide by 4. And you can use those pieces as well to quickly solve percent problems. All right? So I'm going to now go to the iExcel. I'm going to make a video about that. But this is the basic idea. Now, if you're like, this is all well and good, but I don't like the mental math, do we have another option? Of course we have another option. Our other option, hold on one second, is just to do this quick multiplication. 75% of 84, and you're like, oh, I'd much rather just do 0.75. There's 75% times 84. Click, 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 calculator, get my answer of 83. So, 63. So this will give you the answer 63, just like we got here, and just like we got up here, right? So there's lots of ways to attack the problem. What you want to get to is a place where you feel like if I say to you 20% of something, you say, well, 10% is easy. Move the decimal. 20% times 2. So that kind of mental math makes you really feel like percents are not just something you can kind of do with a calculator or something you sort of get, but it makes you feel like you really have it and that it's just something that makes sense to you on that level. It's a very useful life skill. So there we go. I hope you enjoy it. Hope you're doing well. Take care. Have a beautiful day.